my name is Chad Fabiano. I was the coordinator for this week of Project 3. My main job was to coordinate group meeting times, communications with the TA, sending him emails and everything. I also helped with the ARM and parallel programming a little bit that everyone else did. This will definitely help later on in my jobs and later classes to coordinate with other people, workers, or emails to TAs and stuff with my communication skills. I also learned a lot about parallel programming and ARM programming and everything that has to go with them, and the foundations as well. So.
Hello, my name is Cameron Manning, and my task was to focus mostly on the parallel programming part. So what I learned from parallel programming is the CPU runs multiple threads or processes in the memory in order to separate every task into its own domain, and then it comes back together to make up the full program. Another thing that I learned was you can use loops in the parallel programming in order to increment each set of code. How I'm going to apply this to my life is definitely how particular the running code is in such a way that it is capable of separating said task.
Alright, I'm Charles McCurley, and this week, or these 2 weeks, I was in charge of focusing on the ARM assembly part of the project. Basically, just dealing with all the registers and how they are working in a RISC-based architecture, excuse me. And I also learned a lot about pipelining and all the other stuff that's involved in parallel programming in more detail this week. And let's see, this is going to help in future classes and in this class especially, because I know our future projects are basically going to be dealing with similar concepts but going into more detail, and in future jobs it's going to really help, considering most devices these days run with multiple cores, and using parallel programming would really increase efficiency over sequential programming. And I think my hardest challenge is trying to visualize parallel programming in my head and how it's working, because it's a lot more complicated than just going step by step. You know, it's lots of different things happening at different times, or at the same time.
Alright, my name is Jeremy Osalumba. I did the parallel programming foundation questions for the group. What I learned through this is mainly how parallel programming works through the motherboard and everything through all the hardware. And I also learned how supercomputers work, which I had a slight interest in since 2013. Not gonna say where it came from. And how I could apply this in the future is, well, since I plan on going to, since my concentration is human computer interaction, this would definitely help me with figuring out how I can make that easier, and maybe personally for myself is if I ever want to build a computer in my life, which I totally plan on doing. So this slightly helped me with that too, and I'm actually pretty happy that I did this part.
Hi, my name is Jerry Sadu. I helped with the parallel and ARM programming, and then I also uploaded the video on YouTube. One thing I learned was how parallel programming works, and also working in a group and working with other people, just like how to communicate and collaborate, and yeah.